You're not in my room. You're not in my room.
Oh boy, I got a hum now. Continuous 3-chord Monty. Yes, a lot. Enter studio. I didn't change anything.
I'm sorry, what?
Now I can't hear you or see anything.
Well, you're not in the room yet, but you're still on FarPlay, aren't you?
I am still on FarPlay.
Yeah, so don't worry about that, but you're not in the StreamYard room.
Okay. All right. Let me go back on that link that you had sent me.
Yeah, it's probably a new one. Because we had to start I had to close this, so
Okay.
we have to start over. But that's no big deal. Nobody's out there anyway, so at least we'll get a recording, and then I can share the recording. But I'll probably edit out this "Be Right Back" part.
Can you send me another link to get to StreamYard? Because this is bringing me to the old one.
Sure. I'll do it right now. Invite guest, copy. And this is the fun of live, yay! Oh, Tony, yeah, I can send it to you, not David. Cut, paste. Okay, just sent the new one.
Okay. Enter studio.
Okay.
Be right back.
Yeah, okay, you're in the studio. Okay, now I got to get out of messaging here so I can see you. And there we are. And I'm going to mute your mic. Also, on StreamYard, now that you're in on a new link, go to Window and click Mute This tab.
Oh, right. Okay.
That can be a source of echo as well. But this is why this guy said, just do your streams. Don't worry about your mistakes. Nobody's listening anyway. I was hoping with the email I sent out we'd get more. But they still could come on. Who knows? Okay. Let's see. Let me put you on the stage. Okay. Yeah, your mute's you mute. Yeah, you were just going to do the window mute. Did you get a chance to do that yet?
Yeah, I muted it, but I'm still getting a really bad echo.
Really? Now you're getting one. Okay, so if you muted the tab and your microphone is off in StreamYard, so the echo still is coming somehow through FarPlay, I guess. Let me turn your remote sound down. How's that? Make any difference?
No.
I have no idea where it's coming from then. And I don't know if the audience can hear it or not, because we are on stage now, so turn this off. And we'll just act like, nobody's here, because nobody is. Let's see, so closing that. There we go, all right. And so, hi Tony, how you doing? We're trying to get ready here. And we are live, but Tony's hearing an echo. Do you hear it in my voice, Tony? Oops, I don't hear you now. Let me unmute your mic and see what happens. Can't unmute because the guest chose to mute themselves. Okay, so you've mute your...
All right.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, we should be good now. But you're hearing an echo, huh?
Oh, a very strong echo, yes.
And I have no idea whether the audience is hearing that or not.
Did you mute your other one?
My other one, what would that be?
Your
the video?
FarPlay. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. So just
okay.
Ignore me.
Yeah, I don't know what I would mute at this point. I can mute your mic on the remote sound part, but then I can't hear you at all. So we still have to go through FarPlay. Anyway, can you deal with the echo? Is it? Can you deal?
It's echoing terrible.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna. Was it echoing before we got onto StreamYard?
No.
So it's now only so it's got to be in. I mean, it's most likely because your tab is not muted on your thing. But you said you did that, so
Yeah, I'm muted. I'm muted on StreamYard, correct?
well, yeah, you should be. That's
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
If you've got one tab up there,
Right.
and you clicked on window, and then it said mute this tab only or whatever, and you clicked on that, then you should be muted. Actually, you can tell if you look up there. Click on it again and see if it still says it's muted. If it asks you if you want to unmute it.
Okay, so now it's unmuted.
Okay, so now mute the site.
Okay, now it's muted.
And no difference.
No, I'm not getting an echo from me. I'm not even hearing me.
Oh.
I'm getting an echo from you.
Oh. Well, that's different.
And I have my mains down really low.
Okay.
Oh, I am getting an echo from me as well. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it's got to be your mains that's doing it, as far as I can tell. There's one other option. What we can do is you could be not in FarPlay and go directly into StreamYard. So what we can do is you close out of FarPlay and go back to your StreamYard and turn your mic on.
Okay.
And we'll just do it right straight through StreamYard.
All right. I'm clicking out of FarPlay right now, okay?
Yeah, got it. Now you've got to unmute your mic. You know what to do. Hey, there he is. Okay, but I don't hear you. Why not? Let me check your mic's muted on your side or something. No, I don't want to mute your mic. Let me check your mic settings. Okay, we have echo cancellation. You've got automatic. Adjust the mic. I've turned your mic all the way up. Oh, there, I heard you. Just a click, though. Didn't stay on. Yeah, you're now in. Okay, go to your settings. There's a gear in StreamYard. Go to your or the three little dots right next to your microphone. Click on that and see if you've got your mic sent into StreamYard or not. Apparently, it's not sent in there. I don't know. We maybe just close this and try it another time. I don't think we're going to get anything out of this. Yeah. The other is you could go to your phone. You can use your phone. And just close your computer completely and go to your phone and go into that same guest thing that I texted you. I think I'm going to do it this way from now on. FarPlay is just too complicated. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're still not. We still have no mic on you. Okay. Now I'm going to add you to this. Okay, now you're in on another line. Okay, so you can close your computer. Just close your browser, and because I've got you in here now on your phone.
Okay,
So
great. This is clear.
yeah, there
You
we
know
go.
what's it's a
And
weird interaction. Oh, is there? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, that's not right. I'm going to take you out of the room on your computer. Okay, there we go. That was just you and the phone.
Okay. So as
Yeah.
soon as I shut off StreamYard, everything that we had set up is working right. So it's some kind of weird interaction on my computer with either Logic and StreamYard or FarPlay and StreamYard. But I'll sit down and study this thing and work it out and get it solved for the next time.
Okay, I'm
So,
sure. I'm sure you can. But sometimes it's just better to go with the simple, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, this will work at least, and I could see you, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. Okay, I can't actually remove you from the room. That's okay. You're not live on that little window that we're looking at. There we go. Okay. Now it's just you and the phone.
Okay.
Hey, check it out, dudes. We did it the easy way.
Yay.
All right. So, one of the things that StreamYard does that is really cool that you want to know about is after this is recorded, it has AI make a bunch of those shorts out of it, YouTube
Oh,
shorts. And then I can pick those, which of course none of this will be in there. I doubt AI will pick it. Even if it didn't, I wouldn't send it. And then I can just send the highlights out. So we'll still get something out of this. Plus, you know, I get practice, you get practice. You learn more, I learn more. We got to take a positive attitude, Brad.
Yes, yes.
Because sometimes I just feel like I'm out of my depth. It's like no matter what I do. I mean, I've had several good sessions as far as most things go. Of course, the people I was working with already, we had done many lessons on FarPlay. I think that made a difference.
All right.
But then, of course, when I went back and reviewed it, I wasn't on stage when I was demonstrating something, so nobody saw anything. They just heard me talking. It's like, I make the joke, hey guys, this is live, so take notes of what not to do.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
once we disconnect, I'm diving into this and studying everything.
And don't be at all shy about contacting David
Okay.
because he's just the best customer support person in the world. Never worked with anybody who is more caring, who is more interested in making sure that you are happy with FarPlay, that the systems are working. I've never seen him go, look, I'm out of time, guys, I got to go. He's never done that. So, and I'm sure he's had times he felt like he needed to, but he just, I don't know what else to say. Just don't be at all shy. You just contact him through the website, the FarPlay at support, and he sees that right away, and then he'll reply to you and maybe get on the. He's got your phone number now. You could text him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he wouldn't mind if you texted him because he knows me and knows you now, and
Okay.
just if you feel like, geez, I just can't get this. And what's amazing about him, Tony, is he seems to know everything. It's like, oh, you're using Logic? Okay, go blip, 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 blip. Okay, you're set now.
That's great.
Oh, your speakers are on. I can hear him in the room. Go blip, 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 blip. It just blows my mind. So let's see here. I'm going to just turn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a bust because of technology and my lack of it.
Well, but this is, it's like I was saying. I mean, we have to adjust to the new world.
Yeah.
If we don't, then we're sitting around, we're couch potatoes. I mean, literally. It's like, there's nothing to do. There's nobody to teach. There's nobody to communicate with. I'm just going to sit and be a couch potato. And we're not going to do that.
No. And you know what? I know how I operate, and I'm probably gonna be in this room until about 3 or 4 a.m. making this thing work. And I'm gonna set up my other computer next to my desktop so that I can interact with both of them and make them both work. So I have them in both places.
That's what I was doing. I was making sure everything worked. And yeah, it'll help. Is my point, and it'll build habits.
Yeah.
As far as being able to do new things, new ways. All this information translates over to something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pretend. Hey, everybody.
Hey guys.
How you doing? This is Tony Silva, and he's my guest today. He's also one of my incredible students, and he's going to be learning today, just like everybody else, about how to learn from great singers' phrasings, or even bad singers if you want. That's up to you. But most people go for the great singers. Tony is moved here from New York to Las Vegas, so that you get some context there. Was in New York, moved to Las Vegas, and now he entertains us beautifully. I've been out and seen him live. So if you're in Vegas and you want to see some great live entertainment, find Tony Silva. I'm sure you have a website, don't you, Tony?
I am still old school. I just have Facebook.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, Tony Silva musician.
Okay, there you go. Instagram? In Instagram?
No.
No, okay.
But I
Facebook. No, well, he'll get there, folks. You know, I only put so much credit on those things, but we won't go into that. But yeah, find Tony, find out what his schedule is, go out, and enjoy. He's really becoming an incredible emotional singer, which is what we all know is what this is really all about. So I can't say enough good things about him, and as you meet him here on the show, you will understand why. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, the poster says, in fact, I'll put it up here for just a second, if I have it. No, that one didn't come in. Anyway, it says, great singers are not perfect. And I did that just to get your attention, cause a little, a little buzz. But what we're really here is to find out why I said that about great singers. And the reason I said that is, and what you're going to learn here is that I said that because they're actually better than that. Because they're not perfectly on pitch, because they're not perfectly on rhythm, is why we love them. And I'll demonstrate that if they were perfectly on pitch, if they were perfectly on rhythm, like many people will tell you need to be as a singer, we wouldn't like them. And I'll make that very clear. So we're going to do what's called a little bit of myth busting here. I'm going to show you a program that recording engineers use for editing. But we're not going to use it for that reason. We're going to use it to learn. And it's called Melodyne. It's going to be up here in just a moment because this is live. Takes a second. Here we go. And I'm going to put that up on the screen for you guys. And there is a video image of Michael Bublé's voice. Well, what are these things? Well, they're what's the term? People enjoy calling them blobs. Right? So we have a blob here, and a blob here, and a blob here. And these blobs, as you will hear, represent him singing. And what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate using this software just exactly what Michael is doing when he does this one particular riff. I'm going to play it for you. Here you go. A good. Did you hear that okay, Tony?
I hear it perfectly.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So if we just listen to that as is, and you're going to go, wait a minute, where's the music, Brad? That was weird. Where's the band? Well, I used what's called a stem splitter. It's one of the new inventions of AI, and I highly recommend it when you want to evaluate a singer. You buy the file, you put it in any stem splitter, which there's many of. I use personally Lol. I'm not getting paid for that, but you do use LALALA. No, excuse me, LALAL. Sounds like lol.ai, and you can get a perfect recording of Michael's voice without the music, or you can listen to them together, which we will here in a moment. But for Melodyne, if I had put the music in here with him, it would make this look really messy. It would be really hard to understand what I'm trying to show you here. Plus, we get to hear his voice all by himself. I mean, this is a great world. Let's do it one more time. A good. And that's the part we love the most. But even at the beginning, if I go back just a hair, which I will here, let me hide this. Let me put this back out here. You'll also hear a little bit of that breath work right here as he's preparing for the line. So I'm going to start it right here. And just check this guy out. What an incredible artist. Ooh. Yeah, check that out. So, right? Now, this is live. This is not a studio version. I picked that because even though this may have been edited, they can do that to live recordings, just so you know. But they're not usually as edited as the studio version. So we learn more about what Michael really is all about. Okay, now what is it we're actually looking at here? How can we learn from this? Okay, the vertical lines that you see going vertically are the eighth notes. So between bar 51 and bar 52, we have 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right here. So that tells us when his voice comes in on the rhythm and when it ends. So if he was perfectly in rhythm, these little blobs would be right on the line. And this one's close. But you see here, he's late. He didn't come in right on this eighth note. If you know music theory, you have an idea of what I'm talking about. If you don't, that's all right. You'll learn as we go along. This one's closer to the line, which means he's more perfect, as you would say. He's on the third eighth note. Here, you'd have to call this early on the, what would be 1 and 2 and on the upbeat there. Then it stretches off. He ends this on the beat right here, but as he's slurring to the next one, it stays pretty much on beat, but he makes it a little early right here. Then this one here is quite early. This one is so far is right in between. Now, if you know much about music theory, this will befuddle you. It's like, okay, if we turn this into 16th notes or 32 notes, where would he be? Now, this is a really cool thing I'm going to show you that we can do. Where is it? Okay, options. I can actually turn the time grid into 16th notes. Options, time grid, 16ths. Okay, so now it's a little easier to understand. You could say, okay, he's early, he's a little late here. And he decided not to hold it for a full eighth note, so that makes him cut off a little early here. So late here, early here. So again, if this was right on the eighth note, beginning and ending, it would be quote unquote perfect, but it would be very, very boring. And he's flat. Now, how do I know he's flat? Okay, so if you look at these gray boxes, you can see that the gray is between the upper line here and the lower line here. So this is pitch. And right here it says C. So this is an actual C pitch. And he's pretty close to right on. So now I can check that. I'm going to click on it. And it says right here he was 7 cents flat, which is 7%. It's short for cents. For percentage, excuse me. So this is beautiful. And you hear this, you see this little glissando. Like all this stuff is going on here. This makes him interesting, not the other way around. So here he's almost exactly on pitch. You can see here minus 4 cents. Here he's a little flatter. And these vibrato lines are a little erratic. According to classical music, this is too erratic. They believe it should be perfectly in time and all that stuff. And those are great goals. I'm not putting classical music down by any means. But I am stating that this is different. So right here, minus 7 cents. This is going to be really close to on pitch. Only 1% sharp. This one is 15 cents flat. This is going to get boring after a moment, but minus 14%, 10%. Now this one is really interesting. It's actually even hard to demonstrate. There's so much going on here. But that is right on the pitch, right where he starts this little escapade here. And then this one is 26% flat. So if you were trying to say he was going from F to G flat, then this makes this note quite flat. And sometimes Melodyne it's a little hard to say for sure without much more study as to whether actually Michael was trying to go to G flat or not. Here we go. He's sharp 14%, and I don't know if I can get a pitch out of this one. Probably not going to be able to. These are called artifacts. I'm going to play that just for a minute, see what I can hear there. Okay, it's coming. Like, see, that's the right. So there's not much of a pitch there to evaluate, but it's so cool.
It is cool.
It just makes you, God, why didn't I do that when I was 10 years old? I would be so good at that now. A little bit of personal history on me, assuming you don't know everything about me, which is reasonable. I was a rock singer, and I did some jazz, and I thought I was pretty good at it. But now looking at this, I'd say I was not even in the right ballpark, because I would just listen to the record and sing along. Michael wasn't really a star then, but Lou Rawls was, and I used to sing along with him, and and Mel Torme and all the guys that really came out of this era that Michael listened to. And I thought, yeah, I got this. It's really good. But when I devised this system, by the way, I call it my vocal muse technique, and started monitoring my own voice with Melodyne and what I'm going to show you later on, I discovered that I wasn't even in the ballpark. I mean, not really. I was good enough to get a job, but to be a star like him, I didn't have a chance. The other thing is, as a teacher, and we'll get into this more with Audacity, when we had a piano player come in and play the notes, because we didn't have all this computer software to use, and he would have played these notes, and I'll show you kind of an example of that. He would have played them all perfectly, of course, on pitch and in rhythm. And then the singer would have done that. And I remember thinking, because I was a contemporary singer, even though I was teaching vocal technique, that this just didn't sound right to me. I didn't know why. So Tony, if you were studying with me now and I had a pianist come in and play for you, right, you would be learning this riff exactly as written. And then I would have just been shaking my head. I don't know what to do. That's all we had available. And I didn't really know why it was wrong until I devised the system. And Melodyne was not available as a freestanding software until a couple of years ago. And then the stem splitter was, whoa, come on, guys. We didn't think that was possible. We used to say, if you put coffee and sugar and milk together, there's no way you're ever going to get them apart. Because that's what a mixed recording was like. It was like everything is mixed together. How can you separate it? I still don't know how AI does it. It doesn't really matter. I'm just a consumer. So I just love the fact that I can do this. And here's the great thing. As a coach, I can show you. So let's say if I tried to explain it to you, you go, yeah, Brad, sure. Because maybe you've gotten so used to the way you hear your own voice that you think you are nailing all this, just like I did. But now I can show you that if we had a Melodyne recording of your voice and you were perfectly on pitch and perfectly on rhythm, and you were going, I'm better than Michael, which is a mistake I used to make, you're not. You're not better. Like, I'm sorry. You can go out and try to take one of his concerts and see if you can warm up for him or something.
I'll be his mic check guy.
Yeah, well, I just don't, that's a great comment. I don't think it's going to work. And, that does remind me of a show that I got a lot of information out of that made a lot of sense to me that I don't think made a lot of sense to other people. Did you ever watch that little short movie that was called 22 Steps from Stardom or something like that? 20 feet from stardom?
Oh, you know what? I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it yet. And I think that's on the list today or tomorrow.
Well, what I got out of it was what the movie's about is we have all of these incredible stars with background singers. Well, why isn't it common, like it would be in a corporation, for these background singers to become stars? That's kind of the question that the movie posed. And, it's valid. It's like, why not? They're there. They know the gear. They know the people. They know the producers. They maybe have even met the songwriters. They're in there. Like when you said, I'm backstage doing the sound. Why are they not becoming celebrities? Well, there's a cost to becoming a celebrity that these background singers according to the movie, are not paying. And that is that they are working for a living singing, and they're being directed by someone to sing a certain way.
Right.
And once you get into that mindset, and I'll illuminate more when we get into Audacity and show you why being exactly like somebody else is only partially a learning process. So they've learned all these things, but they have never lived the life of, I'm an artist. I don't care if you like me or not. This is my song. I've recorded it. I hope you enjoy it. But if you don't, I'm moving on.
Right.
That's what these people have been through. Hence the starving artist. Now, I don't know if you have to starve, but when you're a waiter and stuff like that, people kind of think, yeah, you're starving. And I worked with artists that became very famous, and even one of them had a record contract. Because the way they signed the record contract, they didn't take any money up front, but they did have the record company, CBS, I think it was, pay me for their voice lessons. It was the Bangles. And I was seeing 3 girls of the band every day for an hour. So that was a lot of money going out there. But one day, and I'm just going to take it at face value, Debbie calls me up and says, I can't make it. I don't have any gas money. Okay. That's to her, that's the way she had to live at that point. But she became a major star because she took that risk. The band actually signed one of the smarter contracts I've ever heard of. They said to the record label, we don't want any money up front to live on or to go play with or, to feel rich. But we want a higher percentage if it sells. And it's damn thing sold 3 million copies. So,
Brilliant.
Plus, of course, who knows how many extra. And sometimes if you don't follow the albums, they've gone 4 times, you don't even know. So I'm not recommending anything at all to anybody. I'm just saying that's a footnote. If you're absolutely dedicated to be an artist, you have to put yourself in the position where you do it your way no matter what. And Tony makes his living singing other people's songs, and I think that's fantastic. I did that for many years, and that's a great way to live. I had a blast. And I did like weddings and stuff like that, not as a solo artist, but with bands, and we had a great time. And
Right.
I can't tell you why coaching took over my life. That was a big shock when I started coaching, because Seth Riggs wanted me to coach in order to learn how to sing better. And I started getting these people coming in, and I started helping them with what I knew from what Seth taught me. And I was still booking gigs, and the next thing you knew, I wasn't motivated to book as many gigs, and I was more motivated to teach students. The next thing I knew, I was just a full-time doing this, and I've never stopped. 48 years, I think it's been. 1979. So anyway, we all take we all take our pathways, and we should all be proud of whatever it is that we've done with our lives, because it all takes skill. It all takes balls. Sorry to say that for the girls, but I know you guys are used to hearing us crazy men talk that way. So we'll move on from this, because I think we've made our point. He's not perfectly on time. He's not perfectly in rhythm, and that's why we love him. It's not a put down. It's not, oh, he's perfectly off. I know that I'm certain there's people who would say, you know what, I saw that, and Brad's right. He's perfect. He's not perfectly on pitch, and he's not perfectly in rhythm. I don't like him anymore. Because we all have what we want out of life, and if that's important to you, if you want to be an intellectual and you want to be perfectly on pitch and perfectly on rhythm, I don't have anything at all against that. I'm just showing you that there's another world that many of us have never known about. Something just happened here. Okay, I'm removing. Okay, so now Melodyne is gone. All right, so we're going to move on. Any questions, Tony?
No. As a matter of fact, I just downloaded Melodyne finally, and I'm going to be playing with it a little bit.
Yeah. Now you can go through Logic and do a lot more with it.
Okay.
You can use it for all kinds of crazy things. I got the freestanding version so that I could just use it on my computer without going through a DAW.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Audacity will not connect. Maybe that is fortunate, because if Audacity connected, I might be tempted to try it, and then I'd really be up shit creek.
Yeah, that's a new rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know. I've avoided it for many, many years. It's like, whoa. Okay, yeah. So yeah, check that out. It's going to be a tremendous boost to your knowledge. I've, and you can go back. I went back as far as Ellis Fitzgerald. Wow. You can stem split that old mono stuff. Mm-hmm. That blew me away. I looked at Pavarotti.
Wow.
He sang flat notes. Right? But they were usually the more intense, sad. So I thought it was very appropriate.
Right.
I thought it was like super cool. But again, if you're after perfection, there is a woman, and I'm not going to play it here for you. But if you love that kind of music, I will totally support her and tell you that Katherine Jenkins is really, really good with pitch and rhythm, and her tone and her ability to go from what singers like to call the chest voice to the head voice is beautifully smooth, as if it didn't exist, which of course we eventually learned that it doesn't. But you can check her out, and I have seen her on Melodyne. It's pretty amazing. I did a podcast where I actually presented it to some record producers, some mixers and stuff, and they were like dropping their jaws. They're like, 0%? Really? I mean, they were just shocked. They were, and it was a live recording. So,
well, there's a lot to be said for bringing in, even on a piano, on a guitar, whatever. When you hit that one, you're still staying in the scale, you're still staying in key, but you're hitting that one note that just brings in a little bit of dissonance and gives you that emotion. Yeah. That little bit of dissonance, I think, is really necessary to feel what someone's portraying.
Yeah, because we're so complicated. We're just really complex creatures. And emotion is part of that complexity. And you were telling me about that keyboard where you can really play the guitar stuff on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay. Oh yeah. So and
I got like the fiddle with that. It's amazing.
No, keyboard players have been looking for that for years. I know that they used to complain to us singers that, well, you guys sing between the cracks. Yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah. Hope that doesn't bother you too much, but yeah. So eventually, more and more, they've been able to get to play in between the cracks, and express sounds that they couldn't express before. They used to use the what'd you guys call that little
modulation wheel?
Yeah, modulation. Thank you. And Tony and I talked about that, because when a guitar player bends a note, or when a singer bends a note, there's kind of some angst there, because there's like this physical pressure. It's hard to bend a string compared to just putting your finger on it. And I said, is it portraying that? And you said yes. And I was like, whoa, that is amazing. Wow.
Yeah, when we wrap up, if you got some time, I'll
show me.
Pull up something to show you real quick. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you'll love it.
All right, so now I'm going to move on. So let's say the other way that we try to learn a song is from sheet music. And sheet music is a wonderful tool for musicians to play together without ever having to rehearse and so forth, especially if they're extremely good sight readers. But in this new world of ours, it's almost become a dinosaur. I rarely ever see any written music. My students don't bring it in anymore. So we're going to take a look at what it sounds like when a piano is playing the exact pitches. And let me move this so I can get on stage. Where'd it go? Someday I'll get a producer. Okay, here we go. Putting that on stage. There you go. Okay. Now everybody can see what I'm talking about. Click on here. I'm going to give you a little bit more of a visual. So in this chart, this is the last line that the whoever you call it, penned this, put in as an ending line. And when you look for it, you'll see it here. It says, "Feeling Good, Michael Bublé." So they're kind of implying that this is Michael's thing. But we heard the live version, which, by the way, is probably different than the studio version. And another thing that's great about these singers is that every time they sing something, it's always a little bit different. It's very rarely exactly the same. Even if the first phrase of the first verse and the second phrase of the second verse, or the first phrase of the second verse is identical, there'll still be slight variations for most of these guys. So here we can't see that, so I'm going to play it so you can hear what it's like. And this is one of the better ones that I've played. I've played other ones that were portraying Whitney Houston, and it's like, I don't know, guys. That's tough to buy that one. But this is what it sounds like if you try to learn it from sheet music. So again, I'm not trying to say don't use sheet music. I'm just trying to say that my vocal system will help you with the actual artist feel. This type of learning will not, and I used to use it. Here it is. Right, and that's not bad there. At least they put that there. But it's like, I am I couldn't memorize these notes quick enough, and I can't sight read. But it's going to be something like, I am feeling good. And that's only if the producer decides to leave my breath. Anyway. They could take that out, and then it would just be like this piano blank state. So this is the issue with sheet music. It has a terrific place in our lives. I'm not saying don't use it, but I am saying that if you want to learn to sing like Michael Bublé, this will not facilitate what you're looking for. All right, so let's move on. How do we learn? I've been talking a lot about, it's this way and it's that way, and you can't do it that way, and this guy's flat and this is. But how do we put that into actual application? Well, there's another free software. Melodyne is not, but Audacity is, where we will actually put Michael and learn from him. Sorry, I'm just looking at. You see my eyes jetting around this because I've got a big screen here and I'm looking at it. I'm actually watching football. No.
Nice. While you're searching, I just want to let you know as well.
Oh, thank you.
When I just downloaded the Melodyne, it's on sale for $25 as opposed to $99.
What?
Yeah, it's on sale right now until I think
$25?
December 31st. $25 I just grabbed it for.
Oh, I'll check that. Well, I don't know that it would be any better than what I've got, but if it's an upgrade and I get it for $25, I'll do it. Even though I don't.
It's Melodyne 5.
5?
Yeah.
I'd have to. Here, let me look and see what I've got. Because this should tell me if I look here about Melodyne.
And I think if you want to.
Oh, I've got it. Yeah.
Oh, you do.
I've got it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I did see that they had like their $600 version for $200.
Oh,
and
I see that.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I decided against it because it's not something that I would use the benefits of the more expensive one. Okay, so back to share screen. Where am I, guys? Okay, here we go. And okay, here is Audacity. You'll see it in just a moment here. On stage. There we go. All right. So here is the same live version, and just for kicks, I want you to know that this is the stem splitter. So this track here is pure music, and this track here is pure vocal, and so you can play with that if you want, if you use Audacity for that reason. And it's an open source system, so it's free. All right, so what I've discovered about learning from great artists is that you can't predict what they're going to do. You can try. And I did try it. And maybe you could say, well, Brad, I did it. Okay, well, let me know how. But I tried to use music theory, and I tried to say, okay, I think they're going to come in right here. They didn't. I think they're going to end right here. They didn't. I think this note they're going to sing perfectly on pitch. They didn't. I think this vibrato is going to be perfect. It wasn't. So what I've discovered is the only way that I or my students or anybody I think who really cares about this can learn is through not singing. That's the mind blower. It's listening. And I know musicians, great musicians that say the same thing. You know what, Brad, you're right. When we want to learn a guitar solo or a particular something that's going on in the music, we've got to listen first. If we don't listen first and we just start banging on the guitar, then we didn't hear anything they did. And I have a demonstration video at the end that I'll make that particularly obvious. All right, so I've done what's called highlighting this area right here. Let me show you how it's done. If I take the highlight, if I take this away, let me make sure I keep this. Yeah, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So if I take this away, and I go to the beginning of that phrase, which is approximately right here, and I mark that line, that gives me a place to start from. Now, if I play it to find out where the end of the phrase is, this happens. Oh my God, it's too loud, sorry. Whoa, turn that down. Okay. All right, so here it is. Right? Okay, there's the end of the phrase. So I click pause, and this is not supposed to be here. Let's do it again. For me, I'm feeling so good. All right, there we go. Okay, so I've established these two spots here. Now I can highlight, and you have to make sure you highlight both tracks. Now I've got something that I can play over and over again and just listen. So, since this is a show and we don't want to be here till 2 a.m, I'm just going to show you what it's like just to listen to it 2 or 3 times at the original tempo. For me, I'm feeling so good. For me, I'm feeling. Listen carefully. So good. For me, I'm feeling so good. Now, this is interesting because I think there's some echo. I hope you guys are not hearing it. I don't. Anyway, live TV, what are you going to do? Let's, it should be. No, you've got echo cancellation on. I don't know where it's coming from. Don't worry about it, guys. And I won't either. Okay, so what did we hear here? We heard a whole lot of stuff that we'd never heard before if we didn't do this. And the other thing that's interesting here is that because we can hear the music along with Michael, I don't know how good your ears are, but if you listen carefully, you can hear that Michael is, again, not perfectly in rhythm with the band. Because the band starts to go bump, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And even with feel, the rhythm section has to be fairly steady. It can't play around like lead vocals. You'd have, it in jam sessions it happens, it's kind of cool, but in this particular case, the band has got to be something steady that Michael can count on, that he can sing over and not worry about them all of a sudden changing the beat on him. It'd be like standing on an earthquake, right? So how can we learn more and faster? Well, this is what I discovered, because it has to be by feel, and I can't predict what they're going to do. I'm going to slow it down. Now, musicians... Tony, when you were earlier in your career, did you slow things way down when you first learned them?
After the cassette tape era was over and we had computers, yeah. Yeah.
Or even if you took something from a piece of sheet music and the sheet music said it's 100 beats a minute and it was a bunch of 16th notes, did you slow them down first?
Always. You know what, though? Oddly enough, I never did it vocally. I only did it when I was trying to learn piano parts.
I did the same thing. Really, what is the matter?
Right?
30 years before I decided to slow things down. And as a lead guitar player, there I am with Eric Clapton trying to figure out what he's doing. And I'm so, I drop the needle and I listen to like 3 or 4 notes, and then I pull the needle up and say, okay, what do I think he's doing there? And I try it. Now, those days we couldn't really slow it down without going 50%, which was kind of hard. Plus, it changed the pitch.
Yeah.
It didn't just change the tempo like what we can do now. It changed the pitch. So anyway, it was difficult, but somehow or another, without any guitar lessons, because there was no teachers in the '60s on how to play blues and rock. I did have a friend who was pretty good at it. He was kind of a mentor, but still, it wasn't lessons really. So we knew we had to do that. But when singing, we did, of course, when we were trying to learn the lyrics, because if the record didn't have them written for us, there was no place to get them. So we had to drop the needle, listen to 4 or 5 words, and hope we could even understand what they said, and then write them down. But even when we did that, we weren't listening to the actual way they were singing. We were just getting the lyrics.
Just getting words, yeah.
I know. It's like, and so, actually this was born out of frustration. I wanted to compete with the voice teachers who were putting out voice technique videos, but I didn't want to do that because, and I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but I can tell you for a fact that most singers who try to use those will not get it right because they're not teachers. And the recording, I like to say this because it kind of makes a visual. The recording you're listening to that is telling you to go, oh, and there's somebody singing that you're supposed to sing along with. That voice teacher that gave you that information right at that moment is deaf.
Yeah.
They have no idea what you just did. And unfortunately, they don't seem to care. So I've just decided I'm not going to go compete on that level. So I thought, what could I do? I thought, well, maybe phrasing, maybe teach phrasing. So I pulled up, somebody told me about Audacity, and I played with it. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm an old man who walked in the snow for 20 minutes to get to school. But it was like, what is going on here? And trying all these different things. And then eventually I finally came up with this system, and my students are digging it. Tony wouldn't be here if he didn't, because he's a busy man. He's got a life to live, and he's got money to make. And playing around with Brad is not making him a buck. So he's here because he wants this information. And he's like a hell of a great guy.
Well, I'm going to beg to differ, actually. Playing with Brad is making me better, which I think is having influence on everything that I'm doing musically anyway.
Okay.
So I do have to give you the credit for that, because you're definitely elevating my game, which is helping from the business end. Thank you.
You're welcome. And this is a full-time singer, you guys. This guy's been making his living his whole life this way. And so was I. So, we're human. We have to have humility here and say, yeah, we didn't do it right. I don't know what right is exactly, but we didn't do it this way. And I'm not saying this is the only way. And there's, as AI comes into the world, I don't know if and when I'll be using it other than as a stem splitter. But I have heard of, I have a record producer friend who writes, but he doesn't sing or play. And so he's always had to try to rely on, studio musicians, or, putting a crew together, as they call them nowadays, to play his music and try to come up with different ways to do it and try to figure out, how it should sound and all that. So when AI came up, he's like a kid with a new toy. And this has been 2 years. He's still that way. Every time I get on the phone, he's AI this and AI that. But I did think one of the things he said was interesting, and I was telling one of my students today earlier, and he didn't like the idea at all. So I'm not trying to sell the idea, but he said some of the singers he's working with, he's had them listen to 5 or maybe 10 or 15 different styles of the song that he has put into AI. So he's got a Motown version and a blues version and etc. And he said the singers kind of said, well, there's some interesting ideas in there that I might decide to use in my own style, a little bit like what we're doing here, except for that they're getting them from AI. And remember, AI is just a compilation of actual real singers. So there are ideas there. But some people are just like, music and AI, no, I'm not going there. And I don't blame them. It's weird. But if you look at it as a tool, I think you can get a lot out of it. Are you using it at all yet, Tony?
I've dabbled with it a few times because I've written some songs, and just to try to get some ideas again, just a variety of ideas to sort of maybe jar the juices a little bit, but I haven't used it for anything, publicly, just for my own head, just to experiment.
Well, I'll give this one company a pitch because Mayat is the record producer that I know that loves it so much. It's called Suno, S-U-N-O.
I'm gonna write that
And
down.
yeah, you can either use it, by portion, or you can get a yearly subscription like Mayat has because he's on the thing all day long. Actually, that's not true because this guy, we won't go into all the wonderful things he does. He's kind of like a teacher who's a philanthropist. So he goes to all of these seminars and workshops in the recording industry and meets all these incredible recording people and gets information from them, and then he goes out and gives it away for free to
That's
people.
great.
Yeah, if you want to look on my podcast list on my webpage, he's one of the guests in there. Mayat Hotep. It looks like Matt, M-A-A-T, Hotep, but
Okay.
it's pronounced Mayat Hotep. Okay, so back to Audacity here and what we're trying to learn. So what we do is smart here. Is now I've decided I want to slow it down 25%. Now there are some things like if there's a really fast riff of a singer, I'm going to show you an example of Ed Sheeran who did a really fast lick, which surprised me he did it. But let's say my old student Anita Baker or Whitney Houston or some of those girls that like to do all the riffing, some of the guys that do it, then you have to slow it down 50, 60, 70% sometimes to even hear what notes they're singing, because they'll take a quarter note, turn it into a bunch of 16th notes. I mean, not exactly, of course, as we've spoken, but sometimes you hear it at the original tempo. If you're not listening carefully, you think it's only one or maybe two notes. But when you slow it down like we're doing here, you'll actually hear maybe 3 or 4 notes. Now with Michael, this particular phrase is obvious that it's how many notes it is. We didn't have to slow it down for that. But we are going to learn some terrific things. So back to what I was showing you here. You click previewed first just to make sure you're in the ballpark. And another point of interest is when you slow down or change keys of a song, use high quality stretching. Always click that on. Takes a little longer for it to process the information, but it sounds so much better. I did some research, and AI said that Melodyne was the leader in being able to slow something down and hear it really clean. But since I've been using this use high quality stretching, Audacity is just as good. And it's free. Everybody wants something for free these days. Okay, so I'm going to apply it. And yeah, it took a second. If I did the whole song, it might take 2 minutes. But anyway, so here we are. Now, because it stretched it, that's what they call changing the tempo, I have to move this marker here to be back so that we're back in loop mode. So now we're going to listen to 2 or 3 times. And what I'm going to recommend that new people kind of drop their jaw the first time when I say this, or feel maybe like I've put them on a homework path they don't want, is you should listen to it in loop mode 30 or 40 times, just one phrase, because the mind can't absorb all this information. If you try to put 10 phrases together and do this, you'll miss so much information. You have to split it down into its simple one phrase moment and then listen to it 30, 40 times to hear all of the data that you're going to miss. Now, I've gotten really good at hearing stuff at original tempo, so I've already heard quite a few things that he's doing here. But I'm going to listen just like you are 2 or 3 times, and I'm going to see if I can catch some more things. So here we go. I'm feeling so good. It's so good. I'm feeling so Now, even though I started a little bit before the phrase that I'm recommending we learn, the only phrase I'm really listening to is the good, and or Tony and I's favorite part. Which, I don't know if I'd have caught that. Just listening to the record for fun, I don't think I would have heard that. So those are things.
Right by.
Yeah, it's just amazing. If this is like, for those of us who've been at this for years, this is like, what? How could I have missed all this stuff? But this part here that I'm playing, you can try to learn that if you want, but I'm not really listening to that. But it is kind of cool. Right at the end of this first phrase, just before he goes into the word good, there's that kind of emotional thing he does again where he's like, good. And that's when all the girls start throwing their bras and everything. Because it's real. I mean, the guy's feeling something. In my experience, this is no act. He's not acting like anybody. He's Michael Bublé. He's doing what he feels, and he loves his music, and he loves his emotions, and you're just getting it. And when we slow it down like this, we can hear the details. So I heard, like I said, the good, and then just before the there's that, and then you hear the vibrato coming in various places. So what we're going to talk about, the next step of learning besides the listening, is singing. And if you can't sing this stuff, a good vocal teacher who's private, one-on-one for technique is a good thing to have. I'm not telling you not just to work with me on technique or anybody else, but only do it one-on-one. Do not use a video program. If somebody wants to sue me for saying that, please, let's get it out in the open, all right? Because there's bad stuff happening. Anyway, and then also, like we said, we heard at the end of good. And if we were watching the video, who knows what that looked like? I'll bet that was really wild. Watching this guy just, oh, what a great artist. And he'll tell you, this is an assumption. I can put that right out there. I would imagine if he's ever been interviewed, how did you get what you have in singing? He would say, I listened to X artists. Now, whether he ever slowed him down like this, I don't know. But he got his feel and his style from other artists. Now, sometimes you'll find somebody who says, well, that's cheating. That's not the artistic way. Well, I challenge you to write something with absolutely no music in your head whatsoever. You've never heard Mary Had a Little Lamb. You've never heard Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. You've never heard Michael Bublé. You've never heard anybody, and yet you can come up with this really cool stuff. I will challenge you. So the long-term goal here is to sing along with him and become what's called a unison in music, where you have listened to this enough times, and I haven't, I'll admit that you can sing along with him so that you can no longer hear you or him. It becomes a third voice. It's called a unison. Whenever two people sing together in a choir or whatever, that's one of their goals, is to create a perfect unison. So that everybody gets the lyrics and the words and everything in a nice, clean package. This kind of music does not lean itself to that or lend itself to that, but it does as a teacher. Michael Bublé is your voice teacher right now. I like to say that. Makes me feel good. Okay. I'm not your voice teacher right now. I'm just your facilitator. So let's listen one more time at this really slow speed. Start right here. Right? Good. Okay. Now, unisons can be a tricky thing because they can trick you. You can think you're in unison and you're not. And if you don't have somebody there to listen to you trying to be in unison to give you that information, then there is a really cool value that Audacity has. It's called multitrack. And what we're going to do is I'm going to be the student. I'm going to record myself along with Michael here. And I'm going to miss a lot of notes, but that's okay. I'm going to learn by missing notes. So here we go, folks. It's going to be a ride. I'm feeling so good. Oh, I didn't get to the part. Oh, well. I wanted to get that.
That's part of the whole song.
I know. I did it anyway. So now I'm going to bump up the volume of that recording. Audacity has a little funny thing about that. So here's my track. Why didn't it? Oh, it blew up the other one. Okay, let me get this again.
While you're doing that,
There we go. Go ahead.
I'm going to throw in 2 cents or something.
I'd take 5 cents if you got it.
Okay. So as I'm listening to just that little phrase, even including the beginning snippet that you added in, his approach and the tremendous amount of detail and technique and emotion and change that I'm hearing in just that 3 seconds is phenomenal. I can't, I mean, from going into that full voice, into the breath, into that little sort of semitone that he does before he goes into I'm feeling, and it's amazing how much, I'll use your word, how much data is in that small clip.
Yeah, and where we're heading with all this, folks, is really going to blow your mind. What's the emotional reason?
Yeah.
What was, I mean, you're never going to know for sure. But if you kind of say, okay, what was Michael feeling? What emotions did he feel? And then you put his musicality in there, his ability to improvise. And you say, okay, I think he did that because he was feeling really sexy. Or he was really feeling good, but he has a blues mentality about feeling good, so he didn't want to like put it perfectly on pitch because then it would sound like musical theater happy. So he didn't want that. I'm not saying he even thought this through, but I'm just trying to imagine. And what that does for me as a learner is it says, oh, you mean if I sing a little flat there, it creates, there's an emotional reason for being a little off pitch? Or one of the things I learned from Bette Midler, which is, that's a very old name these days, but she was a major star in the 80s. And she, if you ever watched the movie The Rose, she played Janis Joplin. And she sang a song called The Rose in the movie. And at that point, the character she was playing, Janis Joplin, was close to death from the drugs and the lifestyle and everything. We have our modern version, as Tony was telling me about the biography of Whitney Houston, so I'm not trying to get you into all that sad stuff, but as I was learning from her The Rose and how it was done, one of the things I noticed was she dragged a lot. She was behind the beat a lot. Now, she had places where she caught up, because if you get too far behind, you're not in the same song. So all these people do have to respect where the groove is. You'll hear a lot of people say, you got to sing in the pocket. You got to be in the groove, and I'm not saying that that's bad advice. But if you're too much in the pocket, too much in the groove, then you become perfect, and then you lose feel. But they do know where that is. They can feel it. So when I tried to sing along with her, one of the first things I noted was I tended to be ahead of her. And I started thinking, well, why? Why am I ahead of her? I guess, I'm not sad. So I had to start thinking, okay, well, it's a very simple song. Some say love, like you can just do like that. It is a river. Whoops, it's a river. Get another pianist. So what is that? Love is a river. I'm going to do it in the original key. Love, it is a river. There we go. And so if it's sheet music, it's some say love, it is a river. But if you listen to Bette carefully, or someone of her ability, you'll start to notice that very little of what I just sang is in there. It comes out more like this. Some say love. It's hard to play the piano and sing it because my piano hand wants to go slower. It is a river. She's so that drowns. She's trying to tell the story, drowns. Get another pianist to tenderly. But you get the point. But anyway, let's listen to me now, trying to match Michael. And why am I going to listen to this? Not because I think I'm as good, or I'm trying to compete with him, or that I even want to sound exactly like him. I don't. I just want to see, did I match his rhythms and his phrasing so that I can decide whether I've learned something or not. So here we go. You can judge.
For me, I'm feeling so
Okay, so now that I've heard that, yeah, wasn't too bad considering. And I'll tell you, listening to somebody sing rubato and trying to match that is even harder. Like, wait a minute. But the band was there. There was rhythm. It's one of the reasons I picked this instead of the beginning, because the whole beginning is rubato. And that would have been interesting, but I wanted to have a rhythm section there to give us a sense of, well, okay, did he drag the beat, or was he ahead of it, or whatever? And to get really technical in here, to hear where he was ahead and behind the beat, we'd go back to Melodyne for that. It's really difficult to hear that. But if you listen to it enough times, it becomes a part of you. And the next thing you know, you're just doing it, and you're matching him. And then you say, okay, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. Now, what's the process here? Well, okay, Brad, you were off. What are you going to do about it? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to listening. I'm not going to go back to singing. I'm going to go back to listening. What didn't I hear? Or if I did hear it, what did I not assimilate? What is in there that's not yet a part of me? And once I start to feel, okay, I'm closer then, now I'm going to go back to singing, and I'll have a better sense of my ability to be in unison now because of me listening to myself being off. That helps me tremendously. So I go back, okay, I'm getting closer, okay, I recorded it again, I'm still not quite there. I go back to listening, and, you might say, well, Brad, it's going to take me my whole life just to get this one phrase down. Well, no, come on, let's not be negative. Even if you only do this a couple of times, you're going to walk away with a lot more information than you had in the first place. I'm just showing you what it could be like if you want to put the time in. And then, of course, you need to get this up to speed. You need to go back and put it in the key it's in. I mean, the tempo it's in. So that you could do it live at karaoke and blow the hell off the socks off everybody. Because one of the interesting things is there is an audience for being exactly like another singer. And when they hear you sound exactly like Michael Bublé, they're going to go, oh my God, he sounds just like Michael Bublé. He's incredible. But in the art world, you can't do that. You have to reconstruct this. So now you're going to take Michael out of the equation and just hear the music only. So I'm going to mute both me and him so that I can just hear the music now, and I can try to put something together. So let's see what happens. Good, so good. And now we're looping already. But I would take the loop out at that point. But you see what I did? I took my musical knowledge and I tried something. Now, if I recorded that, I might go back, well, I don't like that. Or I only like half of it. Or I like 90% of it, or whatever. That's an artist's decision. You check your improvisation and you see what you liked and what you didn't like until you come to a place that Michael got to in this song where he was pretty happy with what he knew he was going to do, and he's still improvising, but he's not doing exactly the same thing. And again, I would challenge you to after you've heard this, check his studio version. Go on YouTube, find a whole bunch of other versions where he's live, and see how many different ways he's done this part of the song. And it's going to be a surprise. It was to me anyway. So once you've done all that, then you can go on to another phrase. And if you want to put the whole song together so that you could go out and do a karaoke version of Michael Bublé, you can start from the first phrase. And my program that I'm going to talk about here that is on video where it'll take you through this entire step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 30 videos. By the time you're through with it, you can sing the entire song exactly like whoever that artist was you picked. And the great thing about Audacity, I want to make this very clear, I didn't pick Michael Bublé because he's the only guy I can pick. And actually, Tony picked it. I always let the guests choose. Tony wanted this guy. He wanted to know about this kind of phrasing. He could have picked REM. He could have picked Pavarotti. You could have picked, I don't know, Sarah Brightman. I mean, you can pick anybody, right? Now, there's only one more thing I'm going to say about this thing that's cool about Audacity. Let's say that I'm a woman and I want to learn it. Well, this is not maybe the best key for me to be in to get this feel. I could sing it an octave above him and I could get it, but why? I've got Audacity right here. Audacity can help me out. So again, I'm going to go back to re-highlighting this because I've lost it through all of my goofing off here. I say that with humility. I'm going to kill this track that I made. I'm going to keep it slow though. Okay, so now I go back to effect, and I realize this is probably going too fast for you to assimilate right at this moment, but you either can watch this video again on YouTube, or if you're on LinkedIn or FarPlay, you can also go there and you can try to follow this along, but I would still recommend my program. Even if you don't buy the program, just the material you'll learn about how it works and everything in the website will help you a lot with this. So now we go to call change pitch. Now Tony and I just briefly talked about how back in the day when we had to slow down the vinyl or the tape, it also changed the key. And only since digital has been available have we been able to separate the two. So I've changed the tempo, but I have not changed the key. So now I'm going to take Michael up. Now, knowing what I know about women's voices, and of course it depends on whether you're a contralto, alto, or soprano, but let's just say alto to be on the average. And Michael is, what was he was singing? That's an F. That basically that riff right in there. So for a woman's voice, probably you'd want to turn that F into at least middle C. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones up. Now that's going to make Michael sound funny. He's not going to like me for doing that to him. But, actually I'm going to go 6 because he's getting mad at me. You could tell.
You're going to get a strongly written letter.
I know. It's I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible YouTube may stop me someday and say, you can't do this. But because I did a lot of research, but because I'm doing it for teaching and because I'm only doing very small sections at a time, it's highly unlikely that the writer or the artist or the producer is going to care. And it's a big compliment to them. And I'm pitching Michael right now. Michael should be getting fans out of this. All right, so now I preview. All right. So sorry about that, Michael. But anyway, so I'm going to turn this down because that was a little bit piercing to the ears. But now the girl can sing it where it's middle C. It's going to be more in their what they call the chest voice range, like Michael's in his. So there's a formula that we use from our system of voice teaching where we basically teach the women and the men exactly the same. We know that the actual instruments do not necessarily, or probably ever, registrate exactly 1 octave apart. So an alto and a tenor can sing in a very similar key and have an entirely different effect on you. And they're singing the same notes. So where should I start a woman singing? Well, should I start her an A2? Probably not, unless she's a contralto and a very low one. So I'll start her on a G, which is very similar to a male. I might start her on a G, or if she's a soprano, maybe a B. But the rule of thumb is basically we're talking about a 4th to a 5th difference between male and female voices. So when you're just approximating what key you want to change something to from the male to the female, I went 6 semitones, which is so it would be F sharp to C. That's a tritone. So we're right in the ballpark, saying a 4th or a 5th or a tritone. All right, so the woman would do the same thing. She would listen. Oh, I left the vocal out. Sorry. Let's do that again. Had it muted. Here we go. I've never heard that echo before. Where'd that come from? Well, that's weird. Anyway, folks, you get the point. We'll have to figure out these technical difficulties at another time. Now, to give you a example of a singer going through this process from just hearing it for the first time. This is a Michael Bublé song. I mean, not Michael Bublé, Ed Sheeran, hearing it for the first time, then trying to sing along like Tony and I were saying we used to do, and I know most of my students have done that or are still doing it, because it's fun. You know, there's nothing wrong with just putting the record on and having a good time. But it doesn't quite teach us what we really think we want to know. So this example shows the singer singing along with Ed Sheeran, just one phrase, because that's the way I teach it. And then you'll hear the singer after they have done the unison, and you'll hear what it sounds like to be in unison. Yeah, here we go. So iCloud Drive. You guys know computers. You always have to go searching for stuff.
So I
And
think the thing that I'm really finding that's going to be helpful with this is, you know, there are a lot of times I'll try to mimic or come close to the way an original singer sounds on their whichever version it is that I chose.
Sure.
But most of the time I'm finding I do prefer singing my way. You know, it's just my voice, my way, my phrasing, and still keeping the song true to what the song is. But the nice thing about this is I'm hearing an approach and I'm learning an approach that they're using when they're in it emotionally that I would have never considered before. And now I'm learning that, you know, that even if it's not the feeling that they had, I'm learning the expression that they had, which I think ends up contributing to me having a different feeling than I would have had anyway. So I think
that's been my experience.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been my experience, and you'll learn things I've never thought of. That's the beauty of this. This is, do you understand? I'm going to say this. Some of you will understand. Some won't. Look it up. You know, ask AI. What is a basic principle? Well, a good basic principle is one that if you build a skyscraper on it, considering it's a foundation, that the 50th floor will not fall down to the ground. That you can keep stacking more and more. I mean, to some degree, you can keep stacking those floors, and it's going to hold. It's a good basic principle. Good mathematics is a good basic principle. Meaning is, when they use mathematics to put the Mars rover on Mars, they better be able to depend on that basic principle. Because if they miss something, and there's no principle in it to discover the fact they made a miss, then that, who knows where that Mars rover is going to end up. It's, you know, I mean, if they added where they should have subtracted, or, you know, whatever. And I'm sure they're having computers do a lot of that, But where I'm heading with this is this concept is a basic principle. It is saying we need to listen. We didn't know that, but it's a basic principle. If we listen, we will learn. If we sing along, and you'll hear this poor guy on the recording, you'll say, well, the first time he sang that, he probably didn't learn much, because he couldn't hear the singer because he was singing. And especially if we're not matching the singer, particularly in that point, we're not learning much. So that's a basic principle. We need to listen. Then the basic principle of music and unison. What is the value of unison? Well, when you're working with somebody who's this incredible like Michael, not with directly, but the recording, because again, yeah, write him a letter and see what he says. Brad said that you've been working with me on that. What exactly did you mean when you said... when you sang that line? Yeah, one letter will never even get open. But so my point is that as you go through this journey, because you have a good basic principle of music and listening and learning, neural pattern creating and all that kind of stuff that I've learned over the years, that you will learn things I've never even thought of, and you'll create things I've never even dreamed of. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of being a human in art. And the other thing I can support about what you said is, technically speaking, most people sing better when they're not trying to imitate somebody. Right. Again, this phrasing thing is just a learning tool. So technically you may or may not be at your best when you're doing that. But after you remove Michael from the split and sing along with his band and start singing it your way, you're going to find, most likely, not guaranteed, but most likely your vocal technique is better. If you look at it from strictly a technical perspective, your tone was like what I told you about with the song you sing to your wife. you're just in there and you're feeling it, and your technique was better. It just was. I didn't have to say a word. It was just better. So there's a lot of values to what you said. Thank you for saying that. Okay, so here's this poor singer who started off very poorly, but after he worked the technique, worked the system, then he ended up being able to sound exactly like Ed Sheeran. Here you go.
Hi, this is Brad Chapman, Radical Vocal Coach. I'm going to show you how Ed Sheeran is such a great, incredible star, etc. In other words, not only him, but you'll see why it adapts to any singer. The way we try to learn from these people has not been working. Didn't work for me, doesn't work for hardly any student I've had or anybody I've ever known.
I think we lost
So I'm going
the
to show you
audio
the way
on
we
this.
do it, and you'll see
Yeah,
why
you
it doesn't
did.
work.
So,
Then I'll show you the results.
Tony
of
can't
the
hear this,
EMS
but everybody
system.
else can. But he's heard
You're
it
gonna love
earlier.
it. Hang on for a great ride.
This is the part I was telling you that you would be able to hear.
Brad, excuse me for one moment,
Sure.
please.
Of course.
I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. And though my heart keeps falling too, I'm in love with your body now.
So read the text. Now you'll hear what the singer sounds like in unison with Ed. So now that artist has created unison, he has that knowledge. He knows how Ed does that. He learned that riff is not only two notes, it's four. And he learned the key that it was in, and he learned the feel of it. And that's the ultimate goal here. Then, like I said, not using anything really, just being a creative person, you take that information that your subconscious has absorbed and just start making up your own stuff. It'll help you with songwriting as well, because it's a basic principle. How do you create? You absorb first, then you start to create after. And that creativity will be your own. You'll be the only person on the planet or in the universe, as far as we know, that interprets and sings exactly the way you sing and feels things exactly the way you feel. I don't know what's happened with Tony. I guess he had an emergency or something, but he'll come back when he can. But that's basically the show. And I will be doing these on a semi-regular basis. I'm too busy to do it all the time because I have Tony comes in for voice lessons. So, that takes up my time. Other people do as well. And I'm not pitching my voice lessons here because that's a private thing, and most of you are who knows where in the world. I do online lessons with Audacity if you want, and we do things in real time, and it sounds terrific. In fact, I'm on FarPlay right now.
Sorry about that. Excuse me, please.
No worries. We were just closing the show,
I think
but
we
that
lost your audio.
completely. You can't hear me at all. It shows that I'm on. Oh, you can't hear it through your phone? Are you listening through your phone? I don't think I can chat with you here. I don't think they have that option. Let me text you. Oops. So you can't hear me on the phone? No? I don't know. Now I've lost you. Okay, well. Remove from studio. Maybe that'll put me back on so Tony can hear me. Lost as soon as you started the demonstration. Can you hear me now? Tony, no, you can't hear me now. Can you hear me now? And you're going to say no. No? Oh, well, I don't know. I guess that's all we can do, guys, today. So sorry about the technical issues, but we'll call it I'll just text him. I'll wrap up the show now. Thanks so much, Tony. Okay, everyone, look forward to the next time you want to come out and make comments, ask questions. I would be very interested in your input if you want to leave. Let me see what Tony's saying here. Oh, yeah, he's saying, great, thank you. Love to hear from you if you want to make comments, get your ideas. Like I said, we're working with basic principles, so as you learn, we'll learn, I'll learn, everybody will learn. Take care, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.